In the previous video, we modeled all the components that we need to create the knuckle joint assembly in SolidWorks. In this part of the tutorial, we are going to go ahead and create the final assembly. So I'll go ahead and create a new, this time, assembly file. And this should lead us to the assembly workspace over here. And we have this menu here, and you can start adding a part straight away. In order to add a part, you can use the insert component, and you can see this fork end here because we have already opened it. So click on it and then bring it to this workspace. Click anywhere. By default, when you add the first part in assembly, it is fixed. So when you click on it and try and move it, it cannot be moved. In order to do that, right click on the part and then float. Now the part can float in the workspace, but for good practice, we want to fix the first part so that it will be easier to add the other components. So come to meet and then first join the two origins, so the origin of the assembly workspace and then the origin of the part itself. If it is in the right axis, you can just click on this align axis. Okay, now the origin is over here, fully defined assembly, and when you click on it and try to move it, it cannot be moved because it is fully defined. Now insert component, we add the next part. You can browse and we go into the folder we created at the eye end. If it is in the right orientation, just click. If it is not, use these arrows or these buttons to rotate or do whatever you want so you get it in the right orientation. So meet. Now this circular hole and then the circular hole of the eye end, we align them to be concentric, and then we want to place this eye end inside this face here. So we're going to use advanced meets and use the width meets with the constraints being centered. So click on these two faces on the eye end and then these two faces on the fork end, and you can see this component has been centered. Okay, now after doing this, we will now limit the movement over here. So again, we come to advanced meets, we have this limit angle. Now you select the right plane of the assembly and the top plane of the eye end. Now the angle, you need to choose the first angle to be horizontal, and we want to make sure that the eye end is first horizontal. So this angle, change it to 90 degrees so that the angle between these two planes will be 90 degrees. Now for the limit angle, we have two angles, the minimum value and the maximum one. So the minimum will now be 90 and we want to make it go up, so we add 45 to the 90. Okay, and when you click on it, you can move it only in this particular space. Then we move on and add the next part. Again, browse, and this time you're going to click on all the parts we need. So click on the collar, hold the control key, click on the knuckle pin and the tipper pin. The collar, this is not the orientation, so we use the x-axis to rotate it and then click. This is the knuckle pin, use the y-axis, click, and then we have the tipper pin, rotate with the x-axis. Okay, no, so the z-axis. Okay, now use the mates and then this shaft and then this hole, concentric. Now this face and this face should be coincident so that they touch. And we don't want any rotation, so parallel and the right plane of the assembly workspace to the knuckle pin. You also use the front plane. Okay. Now this hole and then this shaft, and again parallel. And I'm going to click on this hole and this hole. Okay. Now merge these two faces so that they meet. Okay. And then finally we add the knuckle pin. You have to take note that the slanted part moves upward, but we want to make it come down, so click on this shaft and then this hole. Now flip mate so that it can rotate or turn for the tipper part to come down. Okay. And then click on this edge and then this edge. Okay. Don't want any rotation for the tipper pin, so again lock these two components together and you can see the assembly is fully defined. So yeah, that is the end of this part of the tutorial. We have created the final assembly for the knuckle joint. So save the part, rebuild and save. This should be the final assembly.